Hey, back at you again. What's going on?
Thinking Game Podcast.
Number 33.
33.
Trace. Is it how you say it, Trace?
I don't
No.
know.
Well, 33. How about that?
Trey.
So this podcast today is about mindset and perspective. What's your mindset and your perspective? How do you view things? What's your viewpoint? So.
And one directly affects the other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the way you see things,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, it affects your mind, it affects your mindset, you know what I mean, about the things you see.
Yes.
You know, so.
Yes. For sure. So, on this podcast, we want to ask the question is, do you have the mindset to endure the journey to stability and success? Do you have the mindset to endure the journey to stability and success? Sound like a simple question.
Yeah, do you have the...
But really think about the answer.
Do you have it? You know what I mean? Do you have the strength, the strategies
yeah, definitely.
it takes to get to your goals?
Yeah.
Because they're your goals.
Yeah.
But do I have the right mindset to get to those goals? We know the steps. You know what I mean?
We think we know the steps,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Sometimes we don't even know the steps.
Yeah.
So we can't be prepared for the things we don't really know about.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
That's true.
getting that together, so many moving parts, you know what I mean? With accomplishing your goals, school, work,
Boy.
you know, success, happiness.
That's true.
They just words, right?
Yep.
But it takes a lot to get those simple words.
And to maintain them, too.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that today.
For sure. And our first question we want to ask you is there a universal mindset or is there multiple mindsets?
You know what I mean? So like a universal, like one size fit all, work hard, and you can accomplish your goals this way. You know what I mean? A gold standard, you know what I mean? Or you got to pick your mindsets with your strengths. You know what I mean?
That's true.
This kind of person. These are my weaknesses. I need to overcome my weaknesses before I can really establish a good mindset to accomplish my goals. You know, do you think there's a universal mindset?
I think it depends on where you're at. You know what I'm saying? It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. Let's say culture-wise, right?
Yeah.
You know, most cultures, it's like, kind of like, was it Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book, right?
Yeah.
Rich Dad, there's a mindset.
Exactly.
Poor Dad, there's a mindset, right?
Yeah.
Middle class, there's a mindset. Middle class, right? Like most people, the mindset, like saying, when we in the inner city, right, Southwest, buy a house, get a 30-year mortgage, live in that house, and that's where you're going to be, right?
Yep.
Rich people mindset, they rent everything or they lease. So the universal mindset, depending on where you at, that could be the universal mindset. Get you a house, get you a 30-year mortgage, pay it off. You know, that's where you're going to live at probably for the next 30 years.
Yeah, but is that more of the mindset? Because they're interchangeable. They're more of a mindset.
If that's been ingrained in you, been ingrained in you ever since you was a kid, though, that's all you know.
But I understand. But like, one of my questions is that a mindset or is that your goal? Like, you know what I mean?
It depends on the person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm saying they're interchangeable. So my goal is to get the 30-year mortgage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buy the house, you know what I mean? So that's really my mindset. Like, I'll get a job to support that goal or that mindset because that's my son.
Right.
My mindset, it goes, it really goes, pairs well with each other, you know what I mean?
Right.
What thing you gonna do?
It's just like, let's say you grow up in the hood, like the mindset is, I got to get it how I live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is a
broad
mindset.
Statement, but it means a whole lot depending on where you at. That means a whole lot.
That's more of a universal mindset because it works in a lot of situations.
Right.
You know what I mean? And survival.
Right.
Right. That's gonna carry you. That mindset is gonna carry you.
And see, that could be a universal mindset right there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, sir.
The ghetto. Talking about the ghetto.
You know, so, but like, you know, when you were saying like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like,
yeah,
Rich Dad is like, hey, my mindset is universal. Like, if you think like this, you will be wealthy, you will be successful.
I think
and
universal or more
thinks.
flexible. I think more flexible than universal.
Because it applies to multiple situations.
Yeah.
But that's how he thinks. Like, it don't matter where you are. You can get it. You can do it.
That's true.
That's what his mindset is.
Even though some of it they be selling dreams, but
exactly, because you can do it. Like, you can always do it. Just hustle harder, concentrate more, and things like that. You know what I mean? Poor Dad said, "Hey, I just need a job." You know what I mean? Instead of owning your business, you know what I mean? Like, you know, owning property and things like that. Well, I just need a job. You know,
because it changes all the time. Like the majority, it's like a majority mindset. Then there's like a minority, like a small percentage. Then there's that kind of overlap in the middle, or it's kind of like that bridge in between. It's just like most people, you know, they be saying now like they rather be self-taught. I know an IT thing, right? Self-taught than education. But the thing is that you can self-teach yourself and you can do coding boot camp, but you can limit yourself to just that, to what you're doing. Yeah. I learned that the hard way myself, but with a degree, it kind of gives you multiple paths you can go down if you're willing to take that path. I know, but most people say the mindset is debt. You know what I'm saying? That's like the thing where I don't want to go into debt, I don't want to go into debt. But then you'll have the mindset to go into debt on getting a car. It's going to depreciate as soon as you drive off the lot, 30% or whatever.
I say everything costs something. It's going to cost you time, money, resources.
Yes.
If you can't pay now, you know, you go into debt.
Boy.
You know what I mean? But you're going to pay anyway.
Yeah. When you finance a house and, you know, it's a mortgage, but there's still a debt that you got to pay. And they say it take you 30 years. That's the estimated date, 30 years. So it's a 30-year debt. And
then you'll pay 4 times, 10 times, 100 times that in 30 years with your interest.
With the interest, yep.
You know what I mean? So that's the minimum. Yep. You know what I mean? That 30 years. I mean, that's the maximum you're gonna the time limit. But universal mindset, is there universal or is there a custom multiple ways? Yeah. I'm gonna go with custom because if there was a universal way, I would definitely buy that book and I would train it into my head. You know what I mean? But there's no one size fits all.
Right. And see, here's
because I will pay anything for that.
See, in my mind, it's two kinds of people, right? Inside the box or outside the box. You know, you got the inside the box people. They just kind of like safe, conservative, you know, don't really make a whole bunch of stuff. They usually get comfortable, and that's where they stay, inside the box. Then you got people that's outside the box. Everything outside the box is fair game to think about. Versus when you inside the box, only the stuff that's inside the box that you're thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
And not saying one is right,
no,
one is wrong,
right,
because it's some really successful people,
right,
that think inside the box.
That's true.
They went to college, they got the degree, they became professionals, they did it, 6-figure income, own their own businesses, inside the box, streamlined. Right. Or people go to the military.
Right.
Graduated high school, went to the military, went to college, ranked up, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Retired in 20 years, and they were very successful. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They didn't invent nothing.
No, they didn't.
They didn't start a radical business. They didn't create anything. They just stayed inside the box, stayed on the task, and stayed with their plan, and they became successful.
For sure.
And there's some people inside the box who are not successful. They stayed at McDonald's, worked at McDonald's every day, never made over $28,000, retired or didn't retire. They stayed in the box. Same thing outside of the box. Somebody thought outside of the box, made a program, started their own business, made some makeup, fashion, whatever, was successful. And then there's somebody who wasn't successful. They tried every business in the book, thinking outside the box. They didn't want to go to school. They made every excuse to not go or to not do this. They had a harebrained scheme.
Boy.
Every time you talk to them, thinking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
And they just couldn't consistently do or apply themselves to one thing. So it's pros and cons. It's successes and failures in either way you put it. You know what I mean? So it's two type of people, like he said. Yeah. But you gotta figure out which one works for you.
Which one are you?
Try it. Try the one. You know, it's a safety and structure. Thinking inside the box. You know what I mean? But if you're not that structured person, hey, think outside the box. You know what I mean? Try it.
Yeah. Exactly. So the last question on the mindset is, what factors into a person's mindset?
Everything, basically, your experiences,
your surroundings,
like where you grow up. That's environmental. Like what your parents did, what kind of mindset that your parents had. Your parents sometimes can preach one mindset, telling you education, do this, but they dropped out of school in the 6th grade. But they're preaching education to you. You know what I mean? So, do you practice what you see? You know what I mean? Do you have I was like, well, mama did this. I'm going to do what mama did.
Right.
But not what mama said.
Right.
So it's,
And see, I think what I mean by that, too, is I was telling my wife about this, is that a lot of times, like when you live in a city, how many kids really go hunting, right?
Yes.
You can't even afford it, let alone go hunting. You can't even afford it. Because you got to buy the license, you got to buy the fishing license. But if you don't got the money for that, you're not going. Summertime, you in the house.
Guns, ammo, you know what I mean? Carrying a shotgun in your car or walking around.
Any outdoor recreation, unless you have a family member that can afford that, you're not doing that. So, some people say, why they, kids don't go outdoors and stuff, because they're not raised. You live in apartments. You can only afford to be where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are you going to do with the deer you killed in your apartment?
Right.
How do you look carrying a shotgun to your car or rifle? You know what I mean? Yeah. Environment.
It's like what they say, be a doctor. Most kids don't even know. They have been exposed to what being a doctor is, but just being exposed to working in a hospital.
Yeah.
Let alone being a doctor. You need to understand, like, working in a medical field, like understanding the field, the everyday feel of that, you know what I'm saying? And, it's not like just, going to school and stuff like every day and coming home. It's a little bit different than that, you know what I'm saying?
When you grow up in some certain environments, seeing a doctor or lawyer, it's basically like seeing an astronaut.
Yeah, it is.
That's as far as some people like, well, my brother's a doctor. I see a doctor a lot. My uncle was a doctor. Growing up where we're from, sometimes a doctor's like a mythical creature.
Yeah,
I saw them. We see them in the hospital, but we don't know where they go off to a magical land when they leave.
Yeah, you don't know what they do day to day. Like, let's say somebody work at McDonald's, right? They go to work, they clock in. They may have to talk to the manager. Do doctors clock in? Yeah, they probably salary, but you go to work, you clock in, talk to the manager. They need you to do this, do that. You probably be flipping burgers. Everything is right there. But a doctor, they go in. They'll probably just go in. They don't have a salary. They probably just have a schedule.
Yeah.
Then, like say, residence doctors. I know when I used to work deliver blood, they have a residence. They have a room because you're there 24 hours. And see, that's the kind of stuff they don't know. This ain't no 9 to 5 being a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you work for the hospital, but you are your own business. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether you're a specialist, you do procedures, you're a cardiologist, you know what I mean, a neurosurgeon or a neurologist. Yeah. Do you have your own clinic outside of working in the hospital? You know what I mean? Doctors chime in, tell us about your process. Tell us what work is like day to day. Lawyers too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, lawyer.
Because
definitely.
a kid doesn't know what you do, how to be a lawyer. what lawyers do day to day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the astronaut thing.
And then they don't know. Like we didn't have lawyers like come to the school and talk to us like that. You know, we didn't have that in McClellan. Did you hear about that? I never heard about that.
We didn't, but I went to a good boys and good girls club, and you know what I mean. We were exposed to a lot of professional.
But see, that's over there by y'all. That's 65th.
Yeah,
I stayed on Chico, right? You know what I'm saying? It was nothing over there on Chico. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And even in IT, right? You got to have a mindset, can you manage your own time? You know what I'm saying? Can you communicate effectively? Can you sum up a 30-minute problem in one sentence or, a 2-hour problem in one sentence on a ticket or something like that?
And another thing, too, IT, I know you run across this. You're talking to somebody describing a problem to you that aren't as tech savvy as you.
Exactly.
So they're explaining the problem the best of their understanding, know technically. So you gotta dumb down what is this person really trying to say to me?
It's not a dumb down situation to me. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's people that's inside the box, outside the box, right? With me being an outside the box thinker, they're talking to me. I can explain back to them in a way that they understand. Not in technical terms where I'm kind of going over their head. But yeah, I might talk to them in the Jerry Seinfeld episode of Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. That was funny, dude.
Because exactly, server, router, network.
Yeah.
And they say, man, the thing with the light in the green, and man, this thing is like a pencil, but it's you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you talking about this, and that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they explaining it apples and oranges, but you
exactly
ones and zeros.
Yeah.
So, but you can code that, you can take the information they give, you know what I mean, and know what they're talking about.
And also, the skills that you learn as you're young, when you start understanding who you are. Even though sometimes we learn them the wrong way, the skills that we have, I know I did. It's things that I didn't know that was a skill. I just used it to get by and do what I do. But you think about when we was dealing with girls in our 20s and just understanding, we understood the profile like a psychology thing who we was dealing with, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you converting that over outside the box thinking, convert that over to being legit. When somebody sends a ticket or somebody says they working on something but it's not working, just by knowing that person, I can probably tell already what they did and probably what needs to be corrected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody might say, I'm trying to go to google.com, but I can't get to it. But they forgot to put the HTTP in there or the www. They just type in Google or something. You know what
yes,
I'm saying?
Sir.
And I say, oh, yeah, do www.google.com. They, oh, okay, it worked. How did you know? Well, I know because most people, they don't want to do the whole thing. They just try to shortcut their way out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell them that, but I'm just saying that's how most people work.
And your home computer does this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But our computers do something different.
Exactly. And see, with you working in the medical field, you working there for a long time. Not the mindset of dealing with the politics and stuff of a job. That's a whole nother mindset because you can't handle it like you handle it living in the hood. You can't handle it the same way. But people are going to do some crazy stuff or they're going to say some crazy stuff. But do you want your job or do you want to be broke and go home? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you know what I mean? Or safe, you know what I mean? Your life on the line and their life is on the line too when you working in a hospital, you know what I mean? And things like that.
But the
it's
mindset
amazing.
Is that you're not feeling like somebody punking you. You just feel like, look, if we was outside, two grown men, they probably wouldn't say that. This is because they're at a job. They're using the job as a shield. You know what I'm saying? I can either let this ride and keep it moving, make my money, or make it a problem and risk losing my money.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And this is like a mindset thing.
Yes, it is.
When you're a professional, you think people know what you know. Because I work there every day, people know this, right? So I'm working McDonald's. I think everybody knows what's on a Big Mac.
Right.
But that's not true.
It's
you in IT, people don't know your process.
They don't.
I'm working in the emergency room, right? And I have worked in, cardiology and all kind of things like that.
Right.
people, adults, 40, 50, 60, 80 years old,
Man,
don't know how the emergency room works.
boy.
They don't know
I know
like
they're gonna
the
bust your
triage
head
system.
Yeah.
Like they don't know, like, I'm hurting, I need to be seen.
Right. It's a
quickly.
process. Yeah. It's laid to
It's
the
a
onion.
process. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, why I came in here first. Why is that guy going ahead of me? Did you see the blood dripping from his head?
You see the bullet wound in his leg?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who are critically injured or more injured or have more life-threatening injuries are going to go ahead of you every time. And that people don't know that. Like, I have been sitting here with this toothache for 2 hours, and it's the pain is on the 10. Please, I need to be seen. This is crazy. You guys are racist. Why can't I be seen? Why did that man of another color go in front of me?
Right.
That man is having a stroke. It don't look like nothing wrong with him.
Boy.
You know what I mean?
Don't even know what a stroke look like. You really can't
exactly.
tell.
You know,
happen,
exactly. He having a heart attack. Well, he ain't grabbing his chest. Sir, ma'am, please sit down.
Boy.
We know you're here.
Hey, Ms. Okalai, sit down.
Yeah, we know you're
Sit
here.
down.
But people just don't know how these things work. And
Boy,
you know,
they don't,
when you're a professional, like I say, a doctor, a lawyer, nurse, IT guy, you know what I mean, a studio exec, music engineer, you know how studio time works.
Right.
I'm a normal person. I don't know how studio time works.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Business crazy, man. Yeah.
I don't know. You gotta edit everything we say. You know what I mean?
Right.
You charge me for that too.
Right.
I don't know all these other things. So that affects a mindset, perspective of a professional or consumer,
right,
versus a provider.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
you definitely need to learn how things work, whether you do it or not. Just need to learn how ER
they affect
work.
you.
You need to learn how restaurants work. Like if you work anywhere, you need to learn how they work. That's how most entrepreneurs get started. They work at a job, outside the box thinking. You work at a job. You learn how it works. Like, wait a minute, I see a niche market in this. I can make my own business off of this because they're missing this piece, and I can fill in that piece. And you sell them a piece of plastic or a gasket that go on apart, and it's just that step 5 that they don't do, and you just sell them step 5, and you're a millionaire because you sell them a little gasket that they don't make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because you're local and you can make it in bulk, you know how to do that. You selling them just a little gasket, and that little gasket can make you millions of dollars.
Because you're improving the process. You know what I mean? Your perspective. You saw it as a consumer, and now you're seeing it as a provider or business owner, and you say, "Ooh, this is what's missing."
Innovation, right?
You know what I mean? So you gotta see it from both ways.
Right. And
you know what I mean? Or know how to explain it.
Yeah.
From a professional to the consumer.
Right.
And there's a consumer to the professional, like being able to explain what you want, what you need, and what you're not getting.
And see, we can sum this all up right now. This before we move on to the next segment. There are a lot of kids that grow up in the hood or in the city, what we call it, and they are innovative, they are creative. But if you don't have the guidance to put them in the right direction, I've been on that side of the fence. They're gonna do things. They're gonna learn their gifts in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
If you selling dreams to girls, you're learning the gift of gab in the wrong direction. If you selling dreams to girls, you could be selling cars. You could be a salesman almost, but you're learning in the wrong direction. That's what we want to make some of these kids to think in the right direction. You have the skill, you have the innovation, you have the creation, but you have to apply it in the right direction in the right phases of your life. If you use it the wrong way, your mindset and perspective is pointed in the wrong direction. You'll go down that rabbit hole path, and I'm telling you, the rabbit hole seems like it don't have an end.
Yeah, you don't know where you'll end up. Like you going in the tunnel, but you don't know where the tunnel leads. The jail cell, the grave, things like that. He's saying you're gonna develop skills doing things right, selling drugs, measuring, cutting. You know what I mean? You're a scientist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can if you can convince somebody to smoke crack, you're a natural salesman.
Yeah, because they're.
Like that's a, you know what I mean.
No, I'm saying innovative, instead of
new customers and things.
Yeah,
like that.
and innovative instead of like, they being elaborate when they doing robberies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They looking at Instagram, finding their location and stuff like that, and then planning out. Instead of you could be doing that, you could be planning out like being a project manager. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know what I mean? If you can, use a triple beam scale. You know what I mean? You are basically a scientist. You are a cook. You know what I mean? You can really be a caterer. You know what I mean? You can apply these life skills to your profession.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
I mean?
So now we're gonna have a little fun for the move on. Let us know if you like this segment we about to do, but because we work in the corporate place, but we talking about our past job, things that happened over the years from our experience, not from something we seen on some analytics or something. These are our own analytics in our own head. This one is called corporate myths, right? Something kids really need to understand. Like, you hear people say, oh, man, it's the system, or, oh, man, they holding me back, or this and that and this. This segment is called corporate myths. First question is, what are some of the things that most people know about a job or in the corporate world, but they cannot prove 100%?
I mean, give me an example of that. Like, what do you think?
Do you think about, like, even when we was talking about, like, jobs now, the job market now, you're not, well, I guess you could prove by the numbers if you look, but you used to could work one job for 30 years or 40 years, however, and retire, but you would get enough raises to keep you there. Mm-hmm. But now, that's not the case. But most people there argue, say that it's still not the case, but depending on where you work at, you don't get a raise no more unless you move to another position. Like you transfer or do go up or something like that, but otherwise than that, you're locked in right there. And there's a lot of jobs like that.
Yeah, like you can usually go to Union Pacific or work in the VA or certain jobs you could do 20 years. You get your salary, you know what I mean, maybe a 10% increase, stay at the position, retire.
Right. And
that's really just not possible.
VA, like a VA and stuff like that. Now,
that's those
there's this saying that most people say that's like once you get past the 90 days, it's hard to get fired from the VA. Now, you can't prove that, but that's like the little thing, like people always say, oh man, you get past those 90 days, man, you can work there. You ain't gonna get fired. It's hard to get fired from there.
Yep.
But is it ever been proven?
Yeah. Are you gonna be that one?
Right.
To test that out. And it's just things about like we hear at jobs, you know what I mean, that exist 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that don't exist now.
Boy.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
What are some of those things, you know what I mean, that you can think of?
Like, it's a lot of stuff, like, say, man.
I mean, like, let us know.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know in the comments. Like I said, I know for a fact, you think about, like, when you get an interview, they ask you how much you expect and how much you want to make. Most of the time, most people are they're not negotiators like that. So you don't know if you can ask for another 10,000. So it's kind of like a weird chess game. If I say you offer me 35, but I want 45. Now, am I out of a job now because I need a job? Are they using it against me? Or am I?
I mean, really, can I be fired?
If I take money away from myself?
Yeah, can I be? I'm leaving it on. Can I be fired by an organization I haven't been hired to? You know what I mean? So right. I don't want to disrespect them in the interview. Yeah. I want to be nice.
You can't prove it. You really can't prove it.
Yeah.
What's going on is true. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So like, I'm gonna go. Like, they're not gonna mention it. So I'm gonna go through this whole interview without mentioning pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the interview, oh yeah, you got a job. So where at what point was we supposed to discuss the pay? am I supposed to bring that up
Right.
or you? And they say that what they say, that's not polite to bring up pay in an interview.
Right.
But that's what we here for. We here to get paid.
I think
right?
now times has kind of changed a little bit because I think now they really a little bit more upfront because I guess maybe in IT they are, but because they know that different people they know a lot of there's so much information out there now about what you can get paid for doing what that some people coming into it already knowing off the rip. Like if you see a help desk job, there's a cap on it. You're only gonna make so much. A help desk IT job, if you can get 45,000, you doing pretty good starting out doing that. I mean, 45,000 help desk, and you don't want to stay there, but that's a good starting point. You know what I'm saying? But if you're past that, you got more experience than that. You're not even gonna fill out for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if that's your first job, you go in there
and they expect you to
and they ask you, it's 45. We start off. Some people jobs say they start off at 45. Some of them they don't say nothing. They just see what you gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's what we're talking about.
And then another thing is, I think before we move on to the next question is, people say you have to work harder than the next person, or they try to pull like the, you have to work harder. You have to be 10 times as better in order to advance versus the next person. The apple has to be 10 times better than the orange.
Oh, yeah.
Because the orange got more of an advantage because it's an orange. It's not an apple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so because you're maybe your social economic background, you have to be that much better than some other applicants.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're
like, let's say this, right? Some people think if you put your picture on your resume and they'll see your picture, they'll just throw it away like, oh no, we don't want that person here. You know what I'm saying?
Just by or by the name. If you have a certain kind of name, they know they don't want your kind because your name, how your name is spelled.
And see, my mindset is I'm putting my picture on there because I'd rather for you to just go ahead and throw it away. Don't even waste my time. You know what I'm saying? It's outside the box thinking. Don't even waste my time. If you see my face, oh, we don't want that kind of guy here, totally fine. Don't even waste my time. Just ball it up, throw it away. Let's not even waste the interview. Let's not even do that. Let's just go ahead and get it out the way. You know what I'm saying? And you got anything else before we move to the next question?
No.
All right, next question. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Is that a myth or is that some truth to that?
With that one, that's always got to be some truth to that, but I don't want that to be discouraging. I think you should go for it, you know what I mean? Apply for those jobs, you know what I mean? And don't let that be like a crutch. Some people I didn't move up because they blame their lack of success.
Right.
They already had somebody hired for the job, or he hired his uncle or a nephew or niece or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go out and get it. Like Mike said, you know what I mean? If they see my picture and they throw it away, that's the same thing with it.
Right.
If they got somebody in mind for the job already, I'm still gonna apply.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword.
Don't hire me if you're not going.
It's a two-sided fence. You have to be objective about it. You got to have the mindset that nothing's gonna throw me off. I'm like Rambo. Like I'm gonna get out the woods regardless. But there are gonna be some obstacles. Here's the deal, right? Your skill set. That's why I always tell somebody, work on your skill set. Grow your skill set. Sometimes your skill set can trump who you know because your skill set will get you to the point where you start knowing people, right? So that's one side of the fence, right?
Because your
skill set can make your way for you if you have a skill set. Now, if you don't have no skill set, now you start holding yourself back. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always tell people, if you work at these retail jobs or restaurants, I understand that everybody has a purpose. Everybody does certain things. And that's what you like, that's what you like. I have no problem with that. But there are people, like when I was doing that, I feel like that there's more to me than doing flipping burgers and putting fries in boxes. You know what I'm saying? There's a little more up here than that. You know what I'm saying? Not down to nobody that do that, because everybody is different. Everybody's built different. You know what I'm saying? But your skill set will take you places that you didn't even think you could go, knowing somebody or not. Because I don't know a lot of people. But my skill set have done a lot for me, you know what I'm saying, in building that skill set, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'll tell you a story. I worked at a place, small place. I was working in IT, right, small place. And they did this thing with HR. They was doing something where it's like we had the intranet, and it was a profile. They put everybody's profile on there so people can see, and they can see like, okay, this is a manager, but they got this, this, and this, so I need to get this, this, and this, and I can get that. Trying to inspire people, you know what I'm saying? Well, however, they didn't do their homework. One of the managers, this was a high-end manager, you know, the corner office looking out the window. She only had a high school diploma. That's it. No degree, just a high school diploma. And this person had people working up under them. They had bachelor degrees. They was working for somebody who had a high school diploma. And the word on the street was, because the streets talk, the streets always watching.
Yep.
The word on the street was that person knew the right person. They had been friends with the right person for a long time. And they helped each other out. So, it does help to know people, connections. Because sometimes, you know, you don't realize what's really out there, but somebody might call you and say, hey, Jay, come. It's this job, man. It's coming up, man. He's like, I didn't even know that job existed. Okay, cool.
You got the skills. You have the skills. Yeah. I'm going to put you in place because I know you.
But you got to understand, too, apples and oranges. If you're not an apple, you can't trip off what the apples do. Yeah. And if you're an orange, you got to do what the oranges do. Is that good or bad? However you want to eat that, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it's all about your mindset and perspective, like we talking about.
And mindset and perspective, right? One thing you mentioned is you go in a situation with skills on the level 1 right there.
Right.
But by the time you get out of the situation, maybe your skills on the level 5.
Right.
They grow.
Right.
The people you know grow too.
Right.
So he said, I didn't know nobody. There's year 1.
Right.
Working at the help desk, within 3 years, I know a lot of people, and they know they know me and they know my skills.
Yeah, definitely.
So your experience grows, the people you know grow, and your skills grow.
Right.
So you can get to know people, you can get skills, you can get education. So this point in your life, you don't know anybody. You don't have skills, you don't have education. 3 to 5 years, all of that can change.
Yep.
So not knowing anyone right now is a disadvantage. Right. It's something you don't have. Right. 5 years, it can be an advantage. Right. So some of these things don't work in your favor now. In the future,
right,
they can work in your favor. Right. So we can't say knowing somebody is a bad thing.
Right.
Because you can use that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's a resource.
But you can't complain about the next person because they did the work and they know people and network with people.
Because they have both.
You want to be antisocial and just do everything yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't complain about the apples when you're doing orange stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's just like the apples can't complain about the orange. Like, there are some people that don't build up their skill set. All they do is network. And that's how but there comes a time when your skill set has to show. It has to show at that point. And if you don't have that, now you're lowering your value. And then, but if you can do both, have a skill set and network, that'll change the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you beating it, you know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking outside the box.
Yeah, you cheating.
Yeah, exactly. You're almost cheating. So, another thing about corporate meals, we talked to hit on this a little bit earlier, is can you stay at one job until retirement? Is there like a
The short answer is yes. You can do anything. But is that going to be profitable? Are you going to maximize? Are you going to maximize your income or your potential doing that?
Right.
I know some jobs you can get education. You know what I mean? You started off with maybe a high school diploma.
Right.
You're in the same position. Now you got a bachelor's or a master's. They not going to give you a raise just because you got more education. You gotta go and apply for another position. They not going to give you a position.
Yep.
They're not going to tell you, hey, you got more education than me and I'm your supervisor.
Right.
So with that being said, with growing your skills and education, if they won't pay you for that, you think they're going to pay you just going to work every day?
Boy.
You're going to get what you're going to get.
Right.
They're not going to ensure you get a raise or a bonus, some companies.
Yep, that's true.
And you know what I mean? Yep. You started off making $35,000, and in 20 years, your salary probably going to be $37,000.
Right.
And you're going to get that retirement, probably not a pension. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you know what I mean. Back in my day, you know what I mean. You got a pension, or you know what I mean. But now maybe 401k with 2% match.
If the job do that, sometimes they don't even match. Yeah, you just put money in, like I said.
And then you know what I mean. That's a little. That's basically an equivalent to a part-time job at 65.
Yeah.
They going to be giving you that money, so you got to get another job.
That's true.
When you retire, because you got to start working somewhere else because that income. So no.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that I don't think most people don't think. Maybe this outside the box thinking about the job market, right? It's not like sports where you're locked in a contract. Some jobs are, but most of those jobs are like the high end, like you getting paid like crazy money. But most jobs, like if you're under six figures, they're not like NFL contracts where, you know, they sign you to a 5-year deal and you have to be there probably at least 4 years. Mm-hmm. Unless they give you like some kind of incentive, like you work at Baptist or a hospital and you have to be there 5 years to go to nursing school. Well, that's a good trade-off because you get to get your school paid for. You work there 5 years. I get it. But after the 5 years is up, if they don't match what the market is matching, you got a choice at that point. You can either hit the market and see what's out there, or you can just stay there. It depends on where you are, outside the box, inside the box.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That was a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is everything that a job offers, you can get on your own. I didn't know this when I was younger. 401k, you can make your own. If they don't match, you can make your own 401k. You can go get a Roth IRA and put money in there. If I would have known that when I was 17, I would have had my own, bro. I wasted so much money from 17 to 28, 29. Bro, I could have put half of that in a Roth IRA and already been half plus whatever job I had. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you get in certain fields. That's why you got to get in the right field. You get in certain fields. Every 3 or 4 years, the price goes up. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yes.
Now, you know, you want to get in certain fields, it stays stale. It don't really go up because anybody can do those jobs. Those are run-of-the-mill jobs.
And they kind of go up, too. That's the bad thing.
But not that much.
I mean, I want to say the market changes like where
maybe 5,000.
Yeah, but you cannot get that 5,000 if you stay in a certain position in a certain
but
job.
Sometimes is that worth moving another 5? Like versus like say some stuff like say you get into IT, it may go up a whole nother $50,000.
Exactly.
And that make a whole difference. You know
we're like I say, we're talking about different levels of jobs. Yeah. The person who I'm gonna go and work the entry level position.
Right.
You gotta change that too. You know what I mean? Because that job is going up $5,000-$10,000 every 5 years. But if you stay loyal to that job, you are gonna miss out on that. Like you are gonna miss out on the little money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Is staying loyal to maybe like this little company, like cost of living. They won't give you that raise. Like
them days
you
over.
Look at your job. You've been there 10 years and you're making $10 an hour. Well, the market changed 2 years ago. They changed to 15. Last year they changed to 17, and you still getting paid 10.
Right, and this is what I want you to think about. Right?
Because you were loyal, so you gotta.
So I want you to think about, right? Think about these corporations with these jobs with these. Well, it's a big pool of people, right? Ride by DHS downtown or something, right? And what I want you to think about is, what's the percentage of people that are under 50,000, and what's the percentage of people that's over 50,000 in the six figures? Or go on the website and look at the jobs they're hiring for, and see what's the ratio of the jobs that's 50,000 and under versus 50,000 and up. And the people that are retiring, what's the ratio that's retiring under 40,000? You know what I'm saying? You work at some places, like say, when we went to school, them janitors, like, they probably weren't making that much money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you retire, making, 25, 30,000. What does that look like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you was barely making it, working on 30,000, how you think it's gonna be comfortable? You don't have nothing to pass that time over with.
Yeah.
How you think you're gonna travel on a $30,000 retirement? You know what I'm saying?
The thing is,
can you really live in that kind of box? Because most people
did you pay off your house?
Yeah.
And if you didn't, that's a big part of your bills now.
Right.
And you retired. Now you looking for another job. You basically fired yourself by retiring.
Yeah.
And that's the sad
and then
truth.
The skill, can you translate that skill to like a side hustle to where you can do it, but are you physically able to use that skill when you get older? And that's the thing you got to think about when you're young, going into a field.
The money making age, what I mean?
Yeah,
your maximum earning potential, like these are the years where you're going to do your top earning. Even though you're using your mind and not your body, when you're young, that's when
well, you got to think in IT,
not
right?
Very young.
When I was working at the ISP place, it was dudes that was retired from it, and they'd just be a contractor. And they knew how much they could make, so they would get a contract just at that barrier. Mm-hmm. So they getting their retirement plus whatever contract pay. You know what I'm saying?
But like some people are doing that. So I would rather do that. And then some people are supplementing their income with public, assistance. You know what I mean?
Boy.
They going down to like you're retired to get on food stamps.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the reality of sometimes working a job for an underpaying job for 20 years. You know what I mean? You feel like you did the right thing. You put the work in. You worked for 20 years. You're 40 years.
Right.
And that's what they repay you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it's not a question of being fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, money, skills. What did you do?
Boy, what did you do?
And it is a perspective, a mindset. You know what I mean? You were taught to go to work. Hard days work. Earn your money, and you'll be paid off later. No, I mean, it's just not like that. You will be paid for what you do.
Right? Because I didn't have that male figure, so I started working, and I just started seeing patterns. I started seeing things. It's like, wait a minute. How is this person working here, working less hours, making more money, but, the apple doing that, but the oranges are working down here, putting in the hard work, and they could barely pay for their lunch when they go on a 30-minute lunch break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I started to see that. I was like, wait a minute, what's the difference? What's the correlation? What's the gap?
Why,
how do you feel that gap? You know what I'm saying?
Why this person eating ramen noodles and this person is spending $12, $15 on a cup of coffee every day?
And I'm not doing it from a standpoint of I was hating. I was doing it from a standpoint, how do I get there?
I'm inspired.
Yeah, how do I get there? Because, you got those sideline people. They're just always hating, they think they something, but then you're not trying to level up. You're not, putting in that initiative to get your rank up. And, you got people like that. They don't put in no work, but they get mad at everybody else because they put in the work. Oh, man, he a sellout, man. You know what I'm saying? He doing this, you know what I'm saying? So, But what I say is, don't allow people to ruin your mindset and your perspective, especially when you got a chance to, level up.
Yeah, don't feel guilty about what you did or what. Now, matter of fact, if you get something and you don't deserve it, don't feel guilty about that either.
Boy.
You got an opportunity, God blessed you, or your friend knew somebody, you won the lottery. Who cares? Don't feel guilty about your good fortune.
Right.
And definitely don't feel guilty about your hard work.
Right.
Because you worked hard, you went to school, and you still failed.
Right.
You still didn't get the job the first time. You still didn't get those interviews. So when it finally happens for you, be thankful.
Right. For sure.
And don't worry about the haters.
We're close to creeping up on the hour. Our last topic is power play. Is that a myth? People do the power play on you? Like, you got different people that's in these different titles, and they use their titles to kind of get stuff done a little quicker, or they try to use it to sway you to do certain stuff. Like, is that a myth, or is there some truth to that?
I don't like what do you mean?
So let's say, like when I worked at the smaller company, right, I was telling you about, you got the CEO, CTO. So CEO is the top dog, CTO is second in line.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the people who's over the department of directors and stuff like that. So let's say you say, hey, man, I got a problem, man. I've been having this problem for like a month, man. Can you look at it? Well, while I'm heading down to you, I get on the elevator with the CEO, and the CEO said, hey, man, I need you to come look at my computer real quick, man. I can't. Google not working for me right now. You got a choice to make. You've been talking to me. You talked to me first.
Yeah.
You said you've been having a problem for months, but the CEO just asked me, "You go ahead and come in here real quick." What do you do?
Yeah.
Who has the priority at that point? See, that's the kind of thinking you gotta have. Who has the mindset at that point?
Yeah, that's
now they don't say it. They don't say, "I'm the CEO. You need to put me first." He just asks you.
Could you take care of me?
You can't 100%.
You got exactly. You got normal job duties that you get paid for.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to take care of.
Yeah.
And this, this employee, CEO, asks you to do something basically that's not in your job description directly.
That happens too.
You know what I mean? He just said, "Hey, I need you to kind of take
about
care."
That too. When he
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just take care of this portion of IT. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can help you with your computer, but you can do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you gonna take 3 hours helping him? You know what I mean? Are you supposed to do that?
And see, here's the thing, right? It's like a two-sided sword. You say, "Oh man, I don't bow down to no CEO. Forget that dude, man." And then another way to look at it is, if you go in there and help him, you may have just gained the ally on your side by helping the CEO. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I remember that guy, Michael.
Yeah. So now here's the story, right? CEO or a high-level guy writing a book, right? Instead of paying the editor, we had somebody like edit graphic design, something like that. He takes it to him and say, "Hey, man, I need you to do this book for me." He gets mad and said, "No, I'm not doing that, man. It's not my job. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it." He went and screamed about it, said to his manager, and they told him, high level, but you can't do that. You know what happened? It didn't happen right then. It never happens. Sometimes it don't happen right then, but it can. They can. No problem. Because we live in an at-will state, right?
Yeah.
So they can let you go anytime. But what happened was, it took some years to happen, but when they started going through, I think it was right around when COVID started, going through layoffs and stuff. What's needed, what's not needed.
He was first in line.
Yeah, buddy. First in line. Probably never even thought about when he said no, you know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that, man. This stuff, some of your answers are loaded. You have to think about that yes or no. It's a loaded, can you do this for me? That's a loaded question, man. It's not a simple yes or no. You really got to play chess. Like, sometimes you got to say, let me get back to you. Before I say yes or no, let me think about it. Let me run this by my manager first. And there's some things that the CEO asks you or something like that, you're just gonna go ahead and probably try to get that done. Because sometimes you can do that, and your man say, "Where were you?" Oh yeah, the CEO asked me to do this. All right, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Handle. I'm glad you did that. Handle that. You know what I'm saying? So
that looks good on the department as a whole.
And then sometimes you could be working on a pressing issue. Your manager said, "I need you to work on this," and the CEO said, "I know what your manager said, but I need you to come in here and do this real quick." You got a choice. You got a choice. Door on the left, door on the left, door on the right.
I don't want to wait for my life to be over.
Boy, man. So you got anything else you want to say, man, before we get ready to close out this thing?
No. It's good, man. That was good. When mindset and perspective.
Yeah, man. It's all about your mindset and perspective, how you view things, you know. So we're gonna ask you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help us get our viewership up, help us spread the word. Thanks for watching. We appreciate the numbers going up on Facebook and stuff and watching. And we really would love for you to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can type in CTMTV, or you can go to Corp Tech Media, CorpTechMedia, and go there and look for the CTM logo, and you can subscribe there as well. Thanks for watching. We're finna get ready to sign out this thing. We appreciate everything, all the viewership, all the support. We can get you to engage, hit the comments up. That'll be great too. You got anything else before we sign out?
Yeah, we're regular people just like you.
Boy,
talk to us. We'll love to have your own. Love to have your perspective.
Yeah.
Opinions, comments.
As long as you don't cuss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it clean. Yeah, we good. Come on and chop it up.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.